photonic belt is a quantum, smallest particle of electromagnetic energy with zero mass, no electrical charge and an indefinitely long lifetime. This photonic belt was first discovered in 1961 by means of satellite-borne instruments. About every 26,000 years our Earth travels twice through this higher frequency band, affecting the material world and our consciousness.
One additional phenomenon that I'd like to speak about as we're moving into this information is something called the photon belt. There's a lot of information, a lot of books out now. People are talking about the photon belt, what it means to us, what it means to our lives as we're witnessing this this phenomenon for which we have no reference point. We've never seen this happen before. Essentially what the photon belt is, in 1961, an astronomer named Robert Stanley began to detect particles of light, increased numbers of these particles in the atmosphere of the Earth. They were called photons. And they've been measured since 1961, and they have continued to increase in density. So what's happening is we are moving into a band, if you will, of greater and greater density, greater and greater particles of light. Well, researchers now know that this band is a band that our solar system runs into, or actually passes through, once about every 26 to 27,000 years, somewhere right around in there, depending on which calendars we're looking at. And that it takes our solar system about 2,000 years for us to pass from one edge to the other of this band. And at the 1,000-year point, we are in the center of the band, the densest portion of the light that this band, that this photon belt has to offer.
Our solar system is currently experiencing dramatic climate changes as we go further into the photon belt. If the photon belt is associated with minute radiation, this could feasibly alter our DNA, as it has done in the past.
There are many theories I want to share with you, but the first one involves a thing that is known colloquially as the photonic energy band, or the photon belt, that's meant to be coming about December 21st, 2012, as the Mayan calendar predicts. That at that time, our solar system and all of its planets move through a band of highly ionized, highly photonic energy, which has severe consequences for anyone who's toxic, because light has certain spiritual principles, and photons are the highest form of light that we know physically. Mother Nature knows how to clean herself.
Time is based on the harmonic 1320 ratio built into the Zolkin calendar and essentially flows in a circle with a beginning and an end date.
You have to look at this. The Mayans were in the New World, and the Old World was dominated by the Babylonian civilization and the Babylonian concepts of time, which are based on 12. The Mayan concept is based on 13. Before history, most people used a 13-month calendar. The Mayan prophecy that I decoded, the prophecy of Pakal Votan, who was buried in the tomb at Palenque, says that the means of changing the time is to go from the Gregorian 12-month calendar to go to the perfect harmonic perpetual 13-month 28-day calendar. The Mayans used that calendar among other calendars. The Aztecs used that calendar. The Druids used that calendar. The Incas of South America used that calendar. It's the universal calendar. And the point is to make it to 2012 in peace and harmony. The message is we have to change the time. You change the time by changing the calendar. When you change the calendar, you change the program. Like the Gregorian calendar program is full of static and chaos, confusion, injustice, oppression, all of that stuff, inequality. And if we change that, we go to a calendar that is perfectly harmonic, perfectly perpetual. Every month is 28 days. Every month has 4 perfect weeks. Every month starts on Sunday and ends on Saturday. Every year starts on Sunday and ends on Saturday. Then we reintroduce harmony as the fundamental program of our life.
Visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there. Moon. We should go boldly where man has not gone before. Fly by the comets, visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there? Who put that there? Well, the universe put it there. If you choose, God put it there.
It's puzzling. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this before. There are some extremely odd things about this mission.
Now, if what we believe from the data is so, and you're telling me that people are getting in touch with you to say, Richard, this has to be so because the data says so, there's far more to this than meets the eye. Not only is it anomalous in shape, it's got a funny orbit, it's got weird magnetic fields around it, but there's something inside too.
Well, it appears to be hollow.
Okay.
Or it appears to be 1/3 hollow by itself. Phobos and Deimos are very peculiar in another way. They're incredibly black. They are among the darkest, most non-reflective objects in the solar system, Howard. They reflect less than 4 or 3% of sunlight falling on them. They are darker than coal.
Okay, here comes a very silly question then. It may be, or it may be a brilliant question. I'm not sure which, but here it comes. Are they that dark so they won't be noticed?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. They are incredibly dark, and they are so dark that they would make a lump of coal sitting beside them look bright by comparison.
So that would mean that if at some stage something or somebody was using them, they could do it pretty well unnoticed.
Well, we're talking a scale of technology that people these days can't really normally encompass because it's so big. Remember, we're talking about a 20-mile-sized spacecraft. Ancient, battered, bombarded by meteors. It's incredibly old. It looks to be millions upon millions upon millions of years old, judging from the imagery, but it is battered and a derelict nonetheless, and as I said a moment ago, it's incredibly dark. Now, darkness implies carbon. The Europeans, the guy that we've been discussing this with, the radar guy, sent 2 grad students who are in the loop, in the picture, very trusted. They hand-carried the data of the ESA scans of Phobos to President Obama's space summit in Washington 4 days ago, whenever it was, last Thursday, expecting to meet with both representatives from the President, representatives from NASA, and Buzz Aldrin to put them in the picture as to what the Europeans have found. And they were not allowed to participate in the meeting.